of the day, because I wanted to start. One of the latest news, Napoli advancing in talks with Manchester United for Rasmus Højlund. Loan with an option to buy to become mandatory under certain conditions, and so deal advancing for Højlund to Napoli, waiting on the agreement, player, club on the contract, but Højlund could soon leave Manchester United and go to Napoli. Meanwhile, Antony, Betis, Manchester United, the talks ongoing again today to try to accelerate and get the deal done for the Brazilian, as I told you on the video here on the channel around lunchtime. So working hard on the outgoings, Antony, Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho destination Chelsea, and more. I also wanted to touch on the situation of Kobbie Mainoo, because I'm receiving many questions on Kobbie Mainoo. 0 minutes in Fulham, Manchester United, so it always feels strange when you see a player like Kobbie Mainoo, a top talent like Kobbie Mainoo, and you can see in his face probably how strange also feels to him to have zero minutes against Fulham in a game that you have to win, and they didn't. So for sure, for Kobbie Mainoo is a difficult thing to accept, but at the same time, guys, I'm not aware of Kobbie Mainoo communicating as of today to Man United any desire to leave the club, any desire to say goodbye. So at the moment, the situation remains under control. It's just one game, as Ruben Amorim said. Of course, they have to talk to the player. They have to talk to Rasmus Højlund, to Kobbie Mainoo, to explain him what's the situation in terms also of future perspective. You remember that it was months ago when Man United were very close to reaching an agreement with Kobbie Mainoo over a new contract. Then what happened is that Dan Ashworth, who was leading those negotiations, left the club, new directors, and so for Manchester United it was time to restart. New manager, Ruben Amorim, so the world around Kobbie Mainoo changed. And now to be in this situation, obviously, is not easy when you see a player like Kobbie Mainoo not playing, not even 1 minute for Manchester United against Fulham. So let's follow the situation, let's see what's going to happen there, but at the moment, still no negotiations. I would not add any panic to the situation of Kobbie Mainoo. Let's see what happens in the next days. In case something happens, I will be here to update you, but at the moment, we can't talk about Kobbie Mainoo as a player who can surely leave Manchester United in these final days, because at the moment, that's not the case. If something happens, I will be here to let you know. On the other side of Manchester, guys, I'm aware of many denials on Gigio Donnarumma and Manchester City agreement on personal terms. I maintain my position. I'm sure that Donnarumma has an agreement with Manchester City on personal terms. Then, as always said, I say that I think 50 times in the last 3 weeks, was needed for Donnarumma to go to Man City is Ederson to leave Man City. And so Galatasaray or any other option, if Ederson doesn't leave, no Donnarumma. If Ederson leaves, yes, Donnarumma can go to Manchester City. So let's wait for that step, because it's obviously crucial. But the agreement is there between Donnarumma and City, so it's not a problem. What's needed is the agreement with Ederson, and the agreement obviously club to club with PSG, because they are still negotiating. So let's follow that situation. On Manchester City, with Piero Hincapié, there is an interesting situation. Hincapié, with his bid from Tottenham in the morning, not enough for Bayer Leverkusen, loan with obligation. Leverkusen didn't accept that, but also the player didn't accelerate in talks with Tottenham. Why? Because he's in advanced talks with Arsenal about their project, their view, and potential personal terms. Personal terms will not be an issue for Hincapié to Arsenal. He's very keen on the project of Mikel Arteta, so attracted by this possibility. Now, for Hincapié to go to Arsenal, obviously outgoings can be important. Kivior, the situation of Zinchenko. Let's see what's going to happen there. Kivior, I told you about Porto, and more. So let's follow that situation. But in case Hincapié leaves Bayer Leverkusen, one of the options could be Manuel Akanji. Akanji, who is attracting a lot of interest in the market. Man City accepted a bid from Galatasaray a few days ago. That bid was £15 million. So club to club done, but what's needed is still the green light from the player, and at the moment Akanji is still not accepting Galatasaray. So let's see what happens there. Bayer Leverkusen are interested in the player in case Hincapié leaves and goes to Arsenal, so let's follow also that situation, but for sure defenders will be an interesting topic for these final days, because obviously a player of the level of Manuel Akanji will also be interesting to follow and monitor in the final days of the window. It's going to be interesting to see what happens at Chelsea. I told you about Nkunku, Bayer, Leipzig, but also Aston Villa, my exclusive story from the weekend. Nico Jackson, as I told you guys, many clubs involved. Bayern keep calling, so Bayern are in the mix. Bayern are there for Nicolas Jackson. Then there is the interest again from Newcastle, interest from Aston Villa, so several clubs calling for Jackson. Let's see what happens maybe with other top clubs around Europe interested in the next days, because Jackson is probably now the next big piece among strikers on the market who can go in the next days, and he's expected to leave Chelsea. So let's follow the situation, because Bayern keep calling. They spoke to Chelsea again in the recent hours. Newcastle keep considering internally Jackson and made some contact with his camp. Aston Villa would love to get the player. Unai Emery is pushing a lot, but this depends on what happens with the other clubs. And then let's see if some other top clubs around Europe can be interested in Nicolas Jackson, because I think that situation will be interesting for Jackson in the next days. Chelsea exits. We said about Nkunku, we said about Jackson, we said today about Disasi and Bournemouth. Now, Tyreek George, Roma are interested in the player. Roma, who had contacts for Sancho, but Sancho is still not opening the door to an exit to join Roma. Now, Roma are talking to the same agent of Jadon Sancho, but for Tyreek George. So negotiations ongoing. Chelsea favor a permanent deal, but with a heavy sell-on clause, similar to what happened with Renato Vega, similar to what happened with Carney Chukwuemeka. Chukwuemeka and Anselmino to Dortmund, both deals are completed. But Chelsea, if they sell Tyreek George to Roma or to Red Bull Leipzig, because there is also Leipzig and Bundesliga clubs interested in the player, in that case, they want a heavy sell-on clause included in the package. So let's follow the situation, because for sure, is going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on in the next days and hours, because of course he's an important player, while I keep checking my phone because there are many news coming every minute. So I will be always updating you guys even when we are here doing the video. Let me remind you also about Dani Ceballos, because for Dani Ceballos there is a negotiation ongoing. Olympique Marseille, Real Madrid, loan with obligation to buy. This is the formula of the deal for Dani Ceballos. So negotiation underway with the player and with Real Madrid trying to reach an agreement. Then I wanted to add also, guys, something for you on Etta Eyong, this talent from Villarreal, because today Sport in Spain, an important newspaper, shared about the interest of Barcelona. I can tell you that at the moment Barcelona have not made any official step, are not advancing to the end of the deal, but see this guy as a very big talent. And so Barcelona are aware of his release clause. Barcelona believe that the release clause of Etta Eyong is under the reported 11 million euros. And so that situation of Etta Eyong could be an interesting one to follow in the next days, because Barca are interested. Let's see if they will enter the race. Let's see how Villarreal will react for one of their talents. So let's follow the situation. But Barca could be active for talents for the future, and Etta Eyong could be one of the names maybe to sign and loan out. At the moment, again, no negotiation, no formal bid, but Barca attentive to this situation. And so guys, let me know your thoughts on all these stories, really. Many news, many updates, many things to say, many scenarios on the market. We are in the final week, and so like this video, turn on the notification bell, subscribe to the channel. See you soon for